Hey, everybody, welcome back to The Retention Effect. My name is Jordan Mederick, founder of Revatto, and excited to have this incredible guest with me, my dear friend, Stephen Summers, all the way across the pond in Ireland, where apparently it's very dark at this point in the year and dreary and rainy. But he's also an incredible entrepreneur, founder of Marketplace Superheroes. And we're going to dive into all the backstory about how you founded this, how you came across it, some of the challenges that you faced as you've been scaling this to some pretty incredible revenue levels. But there's a lot of challenges that have come through that. So I'm stoked that you're here. And I think everyone who's here, I want you to just button down tight because we're going to open up the whole can of worms, reveal the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between to help you to grow your own company and help you to get clients for life and hopefully an exit of a lifetime. So Stephen, thank you for being here on a dark day.
Great to be here,
Ireland.
Jordo. I always love hanging out with you. I am, however, impressed with how much more tanned you are than me. So anyway, that's a good way to start it off. But yeah,
Well,
so
I
there we
have like
go.
color correction, so it's all very fake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm very pasty. All right. So diving in rapid fire for some shotgun pieces. Give us the 10 to 30-second overview. What is Marketplace Superheroes, and why did you start this company in the first place?
Yeah, so Marketplace Superheroes is an online education business. We teach typically people who work in jobs who have always wanted to start an online business how to make a part or full-time income selling branded products on Amazon. We teach them specifically, though, how to sell already known brands. Now, we used to teach them how to, sell big brands like your Disneys and your Legos. And over the last number of years, we still do some of that, but we mostly now actually teach a lot of our members how to go to smaller brands, retail focused brands, how to then help those brands grow on Amazon and take a slice of the action along the way. So we've got about 12,000 students have come through the doors over the years. We've worked with people in multiple countries. We've done everything I think nearly there is to do with an education business and a coaching business, because we sell both programs and coaching. And I've built a freight company off the back of it. I've built software off the back of it. I've exited those things, having made massive errors with them and lost millions and made millions. So yeah, it's been a really good marketing education over the last, now, how long is that? Over the last 11 years of running this business. I've mostly focused now on growing the education business because my goal truly is to help people make a part of full-time income online. I don't drive a Lamborghini. I've got a very simple life. We give a crap about our students, and yeah, I'll tell you anything you want to know about the business.
Yeah, that's what I love most about you. You're a family man. You operate this company even with your sister Lisa, who's incredible. I love you both dearly, and I love that you guys are family focused and you truly care. You give a dang about your clients, which is like so critical. It's such a big differentiator anymore, is that some people just don't care. So continuing the rapid fire, give us just a quick breakdown of what are the price points of the products, what are the offers that you have in place right now.
Yeah, so that's actually one thing we're literally in the middle of reviewing, honestly. We're reviewing our business model as well and how we can change to get to that next level of growth. At the moment, we're doing around anywhere from about sort of near enough $3 million a year, about that. During COVID, we were doing a lot more than that when we had more of a group structure. We were like 10 or $12 million we did in that year, but we made a very small margin. So we're doing well. We're a decent margin business where we're at. We'd like to be, though, more at sort of the $5 million plus a year level. So we're reviewing our business model at the moment to see, well, how can we get there? So in terms of offers, as it stands, we have a $2,000 Amazon wholesale training program. We typically sell that with joint venture partners, actually. We do really well with that there. And then we have coaching offers at the back of that, anywhere from $5,000 to about $10,000 or $12,000. We do other things as well, because you can't just sell high ticket all the time. So essentially, that's where we're at now. Sort of a 2K up to 5K, 6K, whatever, up to $10,000 or $12,000 is where it's at.
Obviously, you guys are doing payment plans on some of those things. You guys are probably doing some pay in fulls and whatnot. So, we're talking a lot about retention on the show because it's so critical that sales is sales. There's sales, marketing, and there's retention. And what I always preach is that your retention funnel begins where your sales funnel ends. So that's the point where after you sell someone, your job isn't done. Your job is to keep clients for life, because we know if we can decrease our churn profile, especially on subscriptions or payment plans, that almost every dollar, if you can achieve that classic churn zero, which some brands are able to do, which is that they collect everything that they sell. They keep customers for many years even. And so as you've kind of gone through that process of building this up and building this book of business, what do you imagine is the number one mover for you guys as far as what's the secret sauce to keeping people engaged, ensuring that results are coming through? How do you retain your current customers, not only to buy from you once and to continue to maybe pay off payment plans or subscriptions, but like even to upsell people to keep them happy for life? What's your secret sauce for that?
Yeah, it's funny again because like I used to have a really like structured process for this, and it's something I'm returning to yet again. The behind the scenes is we often do things for a long time, then we start to change them, and then we go back to them. And so, in answer to your question, like what we used to do a lot of and still do, but we're really doubling and tripling down now. Is I would say the first thing is you have to get your customers to trust you. And the way that customers trust you is you don't lie to them, number one. I mean, pretty simple, right? But, unfortunately, in the online space, that's not a standard. So you tell them what you can do for them. You tell them what you can't do for them. You still have to make things exciting, though. You can't be boring because then no one's going to want to be involved in something boring, right? But I just mean like, you got to come across like, genuinely you are trustworthy and you should be trustworthy, right? So that's actually, I think, on the core of it all. We were creating podcast content, which was more kind of like what Russell Brunson was doing, which was like, getting the phone out and just talking through what's going on and stuff like that. We used to do that. We're adding it back in again, actually, because again, one of those things you just kind of like go, we should do more of that. That was actually really good. But typically for us at the moment, it's YouTube. We do a weekly stream with our students as well, where we'll just kind of like jump on and talk through like what are the beliefs that they might have about things. How can we shift their beliefs on a fairly consistent basis? And I think just in general, being very like communicative with your students via email, text messaging are our two main channels. So I would say if there's a secret sauce, it's be talking to your students all the time. I will say with Revatto as well, with your business, Jordo, like, that's assisted us a lot as well. I'm not just saying I was paid to say this, but I will say that it's really helped us though be communicative without us having to do that work. Because part of what you guys do is you're communicating with these people about, a payment or whatever the case may be. And so that actually has been great too. So it's another form of reaching out to people. So yeah, having multiple contact platforms, I think is key.
Hey, are you offering subscriptions or high ticket payment plans in your business? Well, I know for a fact the number one problem that you're going to be facing is churn or retention overall. You and no one on your team wants to be dealing with this. It's difficult, it's time consuming, and to build these systems for high retention is extremely hard. That's why we exist here at Revatto. We're a fully done for you service where we install into your existing systems. You have no changes to your product, your price points, your internal teams. There's no new hires. And we literally go out and recover failed payments, renegotiate payment plans with your customers, and even deflect hard cancellary requests. We're entirely performance based, so we don't even have anything to sell you. You literally don't pay us a penny until after we've won back some of your at-risk customers. Want to invite you to a demo with us? Get information on the link down below. It's almost like a trust recession right now. I'm seeing especially in the information space, you guys are in a very competitive area, a sector of training people on Amazon, and them actually being successful on Amazon is probably one of the most competitive spaces. And we really are in a trust recession right now that whether you're doing a software tool, whether you're bootstrapped or you're venture backed, it seems like there's a lot more window shopping happening right now. There's a lot more trust needing to be built before someone jumps in. And even after someone buys a product, they join a subscription or they jump onto some kind of a program or a mentorship, there's like this ongoing level of trust that needs to be raised. And really what we've seen is this pretty profound purging of the swamp. We've seen these bad actors who are really the reason, the crux behind our current trust recession, which people are saying, yeah, programs don't work. This software is a scam. This product's a scam. And they're just calling everything a scam. And then that proliferates throughout the internet to cause people to not want, to move forward, especially those who are just kind of getting started. So what is your take on the current trust recession? What do you see is the future of where we're headed right now for anyone who's selling to, maybe it would be more of a newbie or a prosumer audience, to nurture that trust over time? So like, yeah, what are you seeing as far as what's happening now with the trust recession, and then what's your prediction for what needs to change in the future for the good guys to thrive?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question. I would say, yeah, like I'd say though, I'd say if you look back at the history, over the last sort of 10 or 12 years, there's always been this conversation really though. Like I think there's been many books written over the years. You can even look at them about trust and then the lack of trust and all of that. So I think it's like a cyclical thing as well. It seems to be in the market, but certainly at the moment, I think economic conditions probably like feed into that. I think in the US specifically, which a lot of our students live, I think political stuff really, like politics have a big impact on how like people are feeling at a moment in time as well. So I think that's like a thing that's happening right now that's kind of a bit, I don't know, strange, weird, whatever you want to call it, right? In the world, like the world seems like it's in turmoil a lot more often. But like again, I think that's a lot of social media influence and stuff. But I would just say in general, like you're right, a lot of people who were bad have left the market. There's still a few around, I'm sure. I can think of a few offhand that I saw come and go, and I was like, I often wondered about those people. And I think in general, what I'm actually seeing is a lot of people who would have had big education businesses. A lot of them are talking about the fact that they're like scaling back and stuff like that now. Because I think as well, one of the things I would say is a lot of like, I used to always go to events, Jordo, and I would think to myself, no one's going to want to listen to me. I'm just this little guy from Ireland. Who am I? And then I would go to these events and I would just be really honest about where we are, what we're doing. And I would see these people who I would have gone, wow, they're going to be like so incredible, so amazing. And you look in behind the scenes and you realize these people, they're actually worse off than I am. Like I'm in a better position than a lot of these people. It's just that they're really good at portraying a certain image. And I think that's one of the things is out there is that there's people out there portraying this lifestyle. You have it used to be Miami, now it's Dubai, right? And there's a lot of that going on, and that very overt showing of wealth and all of that. And I would just say for my customers, my clients, they would not have any interest in that because my students are. I'm almost 40 years old. My students are sort of like mid 50s to early 60s, or my typical students in our company, and they don't vibe with that. They want like your background, Jordo. They want a nice place they can go on vacation. They have a simple business, and that's all they want. So like, I don't need to go around lying to them, pretending that I live some crazy life. So I think that's the big thing. Like, also, if you base your marketing on like these overt showings of wealth, you're going to attract often the worst clients because they're wanting things really fast. They want it overnight and all of that. So really, your value of your company is very, very low if that's what you're doing with your marketing. But I would just say, I think there's always been a problem with trust in this industry. I mean, we've even changed lately to we begin our advertising with content now. Everyone's about direct response. We actually now advertise content as the first thing that we do, and we then retarget the people who watch particular percentages of our content into our direct response funnels, because that's something I see too. Like, you have to lead with true value before you ask for things as well.
So if we're going to break down the actual tactics, I want you to, as best as you can and as willing as you can be, to kind of crack open the lid as far as, you've already established trust, you built content, you are giving a compliant, clean offer to people who actually need it, and it's going to, chances are very good if they follow through your prescriptive process, they're going to end up very likely with a great result. And I've seen a lot of your guys' case studies and things. You guys have worked wonders in again, a very competitive space. But just tactically speaking, how do you guys think about not only retention, but also, specifically because you guys are selling mid-ticket and larger ticket programs, how do you think about strategies for keeping people on board for ongoing higher ticket products and price points, keeping people not only just retained from like a financial perspective, but engaged in the product? Because we see one of the biggest
Yeah.
reasons for churn is people, what I call quiet quitting. They kind of disappear into the background, whether there's a payment
Yeah.
issue and it's financial, but they aren't engaging in the product in some way despite your best efforts. So what tactics or strategies have you guys either flopped on horribly that didn't work, or what elements worked really well for you guys to engage people, keep them right after the purchase, but also engaged longer term to become clients for life? What strategies have worked for you?
Yeah. Well, I will say, I think it's an area we can improve on quite a lot, actually. And so that would be my first point. I think like it's something we could be much better in this area, but we do some stuff. Like we brought in Lorraine on our team, and she is in charge of basically monitoring like are people logging into things, what's going on from that point of view. Like how can we improve the content? Is the content structured in the right way that people are getting the information that they need at the right time? And we then tend to try and see like are people dropping off at any one point in time. So we do all that kind of stuff. We do add in 3 accountability calls with our offers as well. Typically, like our 2K offer, we would have accountability calls baked in. We used to try to go really after people much more individually, and we failed at that. Like we weren't very good at that. And I think as well, it's kind of like I heard an analogy years ago from Sean Stevenson when he was with us, and he it was really good. He was basically saying like, let's say a boat crashes and it's in the middle of the ocean, and they have to bring in the helicopter, like the lifeguard has to come in, rough seas, trying to save the people that have exited the boat. He's like, the only people that they can save are the people that are swimming towards the helicopter. And they can't save anybody else. If you're swimming away, I can't save you. And so I think like for me, a little bit of those very like individual retention strategies felt a bit like you're swimming away from me, but I have to try and save. So it's like the way people often say you can't be a savior, they have to already want to do it. So it's like how can we encourage them to want to stay on the plan, to want to use the thing regularly? Something else you can do with your buyers as well, it's very effective, is direct mail. We do a bit of that as well. Direct mail is great
Okay,
because
on
you know
on that, you have to break that down for me too before we dive into the an entirely different topic. What is the direct mail strategy that, because I've seen people flop horribly on direct mail. So like what's the strategy that you guys have seen work, and like if someone's interested in like I've had a ton of conversations with entrepreneurs like looking for traffic diversity, and direct mail has kind of been like pushed to the back burner. So like maybe crack that can open a little bit.
it's only it really is only effective when you have a higher priced program that you're looking to move people into. But it has the effect as well. You can reduce churn by sending out a stick letter at when someone buys from you. So that's one thing you can do, and that does have a positive impact. But again, to make direct mail economically viable, it needs to come with an offer, right? And again, like I have no problem in saying that because I believe in everything that we do offer people. Like if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't put it out there. So I think like you can do a stick letter at the start. That makes sense. Often that's like acknowledging the purchase, welcome them to the community. You can even give them a physical gift along with that if your budget can do it. So that's one thing you can do at the start. Don't necessarily ask for anything. But then on a relatively ongoing basis, we send out 3 to 4 page letters, which are essentially like an email, like your best email, or it can be your email expanded, and ultimately then invite people to take another action with you. So again, it can be fairly efficient from a spend point of view, but if you've got a high ticket offer on the back of it, it can produce a good bit of revenue. But the stick letter would be the retention part of that.
Yeah, and so, like, this I think is an untapped thing. Before we break into this other thing, I want people to walk away with something extremely tactical. This is one of the most eloquent strategies that I think I've ever witnessed myself. Probably, one of the best examples was, Taylor Welch. Back in the day, he had one of the fastest growing consultancies, and he sent out these things called the memo, which was like a 3 to 5 page typed up, kinda like the old Gary Halbert letters, right? It'd be, like, on a typewriter, and, like, it has that type of typewriter font that would be sent out. And I thought that, modern versions of that can stand out so much. I'll tell you, there are too many founders, and I'll call myself out on this too, that people aren't going to come knocking on your door, right? People aren't going to like chase you down or swim way too far to get back to the helicopter, right? If you are looking for more clients, you're looking for growth, it is your responsibility and your job to stay top of mind with these people. And direct mail can be a great version of that. And of course, in these cases, sometimes you'll sneak in an offer or it's like, hey, book a call with us, see if it's something that we can help you with or if you're a good fit. So it doesn't have to be an overt sales pitch necessarily in that way, but just staying top of mind with people. Even in our case, we have some partners, and with them, they almost always, even our referral partners, forget about us until we remind them, like, hey, we're sending you a commission check this month. Who else do you have? Like, here's what you earned. It's a 50% increase from last month. So like, congrats. Who else do you got? And then they're like, oh yeah, I met 5 people over here. But it's always that element of like staying top of mind. So like, don't sleep on direct mail. especially in the US, there's some really cost-effective ways to do that through the postal service. But I want to break down really quick here, but I always want to kind of reveal a bit of the dark side too, because I know every entrepreneur goes through extremely dark periods. You're a family guy. You've had some really, as you and I have spoken, some really tumultuous months, cash flow negative months, just like a lot of financial issues and stress and pressure. And you have to make payroll and sales are down all at the same time. And all these things, it's the problems that most entrepreneurs are facing. So what I want to know from your perspective is, how have you found to heal through? I don't want to get all like esoteric and too like gushy here, but it's like we have to keep our own mindset straight too, and we have to survive. So as a family man, how do you survive those dark periods and keep your head on straight? But even when things are good, there's still like the element of needing to have time for your family and ensure that you guys are still connected through that. And I always say that we're hiring
Yeah.
our businesses don't hire us. So how do you think about that topic?
Wow. Geez, that, you know what I mean? That's a long conversation. To be fair, there's a lot in that, but I mean, I'll certainly give you some short answer to that. I would say the first answer I would give is I'll give you a breakthrough I had, right? And this is a good breakthrough. But I read a book there a while ago, and it was called The Illusion of Money, right? And it was a really good book actually. And I think the thing that helped me the most was uh, I used to equate in my business revenue with kind of like security, like money equals security, right? And I think as a business owner, if you do that too much, you then start to ride the revenue roller coaster. So in a great month, you feel great, you feel super secure, everything is awesome. And in a month where things are not as good and sales are down, or you ran a promotion and you didn't get the close rate that you were expecting and all that kind of stuff. Joint venture partners let you down, which happens plenty, unfortunately. Yeah, like you're in this position where you don't feel secure anymore. And we all know if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like security is like a base level need. Now, reality is that I don't have a mortgage on my home because I built my business, and that was one of the first things that I chose to do for my family. I was like, I'm just going to pay my house off so I don't have any mortgage. So that was one thing I've got going for me that I will say is a massive advantage for me that other people maybe don't have the same advantage. And so if I had a mortgage every single month and all of that, now we've got other things we pay for, but they're not the same as like your home or my family live, my kids put their head down at night. So that was something I did that helps a lot in that area. That being said, though, believe me, I have many concerns in this area. So like, it's not like all my problems are solved, but understanding that I'm security, revenues not security was a big shift. And that does sound a bit esoteric, but it was actually good, because if you think about it, like, yeah, like I'm the security, not the revenue. Like it's up to me then and the business then to bring more revenue, to do things that will generate more customers and sales. Because if you just keep thinking about the revenue all the time and you ride the roller coaster, I've done it many times, maybe you have as well, Jordo. Sometimes you've no energy left anymore to actually go and do the things that are going to make you more money and put you in a better position, like financially. But I really do genuinely watch people like Alex Hormozy and guys like that who look, they're way beyond where I am in business. Like he's way beyond me, right? And that's and well done. I read his books, I learn from Alex. He's a very intelligent person. But equally, like I wouldn't want the same life that he's got going on, because that's not my path, right? And I think for all of us, we have to sort of, like you just said, though, I like what you said, like your businesses, you're hiring your business, I think you said, or something like that, which I think is kind of cool. And I think that is it. Like, so it's like, what do I want from this business? What do I want from life? Because fundamentally as well, when you look at your company, what do you want the business to do? Like, do you want to sell your company in the future? Do you want it to be a cash flow thing that gives your family a great standard of living, but you don't really plan to sell? Like, what do you actually want the business to do? And if the business is doing that for you, well, then great. But if it's not, then that's time to consider doing something else, because God knows, growing a business, like, I mean, I've even had those thoughts about marketplace superheroes at times. Is this the right business for me? Am I doing the right thing and whatever? And then I look back at our students and I realize, yeah, like our students are getting great results. It's genuinely helping people.
Now, as we start to kind of wind down, really briefly, what do you see as the future for your company? Is it, if you're have thought about some of those exits in mind? Is it, or is that just not on your plate? And then I'd love to know. We'll have some notes down in the show notes down below about how to reach out to Steven if you guys have additional questions or even to learn more about Marketplace Superheroes. But yeah, what's the future for you, and how can people find more about you?
Yeah, so I wish I could tell you I knew the exact future for Marketplace Superheroes. I mean, all I do know is we're going to continue to grow in the space that we're in. And likely we will start to branch into newer areas down the line, bring in new partners and stuff like that. But I don't really know. I mean, I think we've got a plan for the next couple of years, and after that, I'm not sure. We'll kind of have to wait and see. I have some ideas for other businesses though that I'm like I've grown Marketplace Superheroes over the last number of years with Lisa as well, doing some very specific things from a promotional sense. And so I've often looked at that and said, I'd love to help other businesses with stuff like that too, but I don't want to just be have another education business. So I've been looking at ideas where we can serve other companies in sort of different ways that are more of I don't want to say a traditional business because like we're talking about software companies here, but I think like there is a sort of a what's the word? There's a solidity to like a software company versus like an education business, right? And I am looking at the next frontier of like, well, in the future, like, is there a company I can build that isn't so much about me? Is more like what Revatto is doing, because I'm so impressed with what you guys have done, Jordo. It's been brilliant watching your guys' journey as well. You've exited, you've done it as well, so you know as well as I do. You went on, you built the next company straight away, you know?
You guys are building stuff that really matters. And I always want to encourage people on the show, go build stuff that matters, build stuff that actually helps people, and it helps you sleep at night, both and perhaps this life and the next, to encourage us all to be good to each other and to build stuff that really does make an impact on the world. So I'm going to leave some notes down below on how to get in contact with Steven, but thank you so much for being here. Love you dearly. And just huge congrats on your guys' success, and rooting for you guys ongoing. So we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Retention Effect. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ping those down in the comments down below or reach out to us directly. And if you are a founder and you have MRR and you have either subscriptions or high ticket payment plans, we want to feature you on the show as well. So please shoot us a line, and we'd love to tell your story as well. We'll see you on the next episode.